Hi, I'm Stephen Murray, and this is The Knoll, an online gathering place for the people of Oak Knoll Lutheran Church and a place to share our community stories. We're so glad that so many of you join us every Sunday morning for worship, but there's so much more that goes on in this building every single day, and if you're not here during the week, that's fine, but you don't get to see it. I'm sitting here with Erika Vickerman, and she came to me because of so much of those programs and so many of the vibrant things that are happening. We wanted to explore some more of that and share that as part of the Knoll. So, Erika, what are we going to explore first?
Well, there's so many places to start, but we thought we would start this time with the Sharing Garden. The Sharing Garden is one of our many ministries here at Oak Knoll, and it's an opportunity for people to volunteer outdoors, to work together, growing vegetables, and offering that reward to the ICA, to the food shelf in Hopkins, which is where all of the produce goes. And every year we are proud to give that to the ICA. But more than that, it's a process of working together and volunteering together and getting to know each other outside of Sunday service.
That's so great. That's so great. And we sat down with Suzanne Burman and Debbie Sandberg to learn more about it. They're the ones heading up the efforts.
Yes, they've been at it for many years, and they are always looking for more volunteers. This past year, I was able to join and commit, and I can't wait to be part of it again next year.
Great. So let's start by heading out to the garden. So we're here in the garden.
Yes.
It's Saturday morning.
Yes.
You're winterizing it?
Putting it to bed for the winter. Yep.
Okay.
What we're doing today is pulling out all the vegetation. We've already put clover in for green fertilizer for next spring. We'll turn that in. And then over here is field peas. We'll do the same with that. We had a significant deer problem. So we put this up, but we're going to take down the fishing line now for the winter. We'll leave the poles up. What else do we need to do? We try to keep as much stuff in the soil to prevent soil erosion, at least the root structures.
Do you have a favorite thing here that's planted?
I could do a least favorite,
Okay.
but that's just me. That would be eggplant.
Okay.
I love the flowers. I love the plant. That's eggplant right there, but I don't like to eat it. Hey, Erika. We plant the zinnias and the cosmos and the sunflowers to draw bees in. We also have what's called borage, which is an herb that's a bee favorite. You can't have vegetables unless you have bees. If you don't have bees, you wouldn't have it. So we would not have watermelon, we would not have pumpkins, we would have no squash, we'd have no zucchini, we'd have no chocolate. We can't grow chocolate here, but some things that are standard in a southern Minnesota garden we wouldn't have if we didn't have the bees. That's why we plant those, to bring them in. Butterflies. Last year we had red salvia in here, which was wonderful for the finches and hummingbirds, and we didn't put it in this year, and that was a mistake. We got a bench. Marcella, Debbie, who gave us the bench? Marcella Mueller. Yes. Yeah. She gave us the bench, and so it's so lovely to sit there and enjoy the things that fly through. Every year we switch it around. We rotate our crops for the purpose of disease, to keep that down. Last year, those 3 circular bins, we had sweet potatoes in there, and they did beautifully. They ran that way. We got 70 pounds of sweet potatoes out of those 3 bins last year. This year, we had them here, and the deer were our nemesis. We didn't get nearly as much. The last 2 years, those 2 beds over there, we put garlic in, and we'll be putting garlic in now probably Tuesday or Wednesday this week. It's a winter hardy garlic. That will then get harvested sometime after the 4th of July. This year we're going to put it over here for crop rotation. So we got to get this bed prepped, take all of this out, so we can put the garlic in. We grow, you name it, other than corn, we grow just about everything in this spot. So when you say what's interesting, I don't know.
Right.
For me, I have 2 real marked memories. One is my grandma Lydia. It's one of my first memories. She lived out on the farm, and she had ground cherries. And we would go sit under the tree and pick those ground cherries up, and she would make jam. So that idea of something you can eat from the ground. And then my other is with my brothers out in our garden at home, and Mom would always send us out to pick the beans. And everybody knows that when you pick the beans, you will find beans, even if you've gone through 10 times at least, you will find more beans. So we would be sent out, and Mom would always say, I want you to go down the row, and then I want you to come back, and I want you to do it again, and then come back, and then I'll come out and look. And we'd have more beans to pick.
Always more.
Always more.
Those are great stories. How about you, Debbie?
As far as gardening goes, I grew up on the farm. I come from a family of 10. Everything we ate was from our garden. We had our own beef, pork, just everything. That's the way it was. And I brought some of those skills to the garden here at church, just being outdoors. I love it.
Yep.
The only thing is I'm not able to grow any vegetables at my present house because we have too many deer and rabbits.
So you get your success stories from the sharing garden here
Yes.
at
Yes.
church. And I know I have seen you out about the community planting flowers by Oberlin Park for sure. You've adopted some gardens locally.
Yes. Doing the sign at Oberlin Park has taken care of some of the flowers that I can't grow at home because we have too much shade. So being able to put flowers by that sign, because it all gets sun, it's taken care of some of my wishes.
They're beautiful. I appreciate them when I walk my dog.
Thank
I
you.
always look at them. Take us to the sharing garden at Oak Knoll. When did it start? What was the inspiration?
It started with Pastor Kayla. She sent out a sheet of paper. It was passed around, and you put it in the offering plate as to what your interests are. And she had some things listed, and then you could add your own. And there were about 10 of us, I believe, who said gardening. I want to say it was 2019, maybe 2018, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So we did a year of planning and organizing and dreaming. Yeah, so then it was about a year after that's when we put in those first raised beds.
And so that was right before COVID hit. So in a way, kind of good timing because something you could do was be outside.
Right. And that's what set the stage, too, for it, that the food be donated to the food shelf, ICA food shelf. It was COVID. Because of people contact and all that, we could get things there. They would make sure the food was safe, and they could distribute it the way they needed to because of COVID. That was the beginning of it, and then it's just grown from there.
Debbie, when did you get involved with the sharing garden? Was it right away?
Right away, yes.
Okay.
Even before Pastor Kayla, Pastor Michelle said we need to do something with this space outside the church here.
Okay.
Maybe we should do a garden. Nothing really happened. We didn't have anybody who really wanted to step up to the plate and take care of it until Suzanne came along.
And Garrett.
Garrett.
Garrett Young was big in that, too, so...
Yeah, he drew up a lot of the plans. They were really nice plans, but we first had to go with the basics just in case the garden didn't take off. Yeah, I've been in it since the get-go. In fact, sitting across the table from Suzanne in the first meeting, I thought, what am I doing here? But she's a master gardener, and she just took control, and I thought, oh, this is going to be really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that's
She's
great.
inspiration, though. She's the one who says, oh, we got to grow more. Yes, we do, Debbie. We got to grow more.
One volunteer said, go big or go home.
Yep.
So
Well, and I just joined this last year, so I'm a newbie, but I really loved this last season, and I can't wait for next year. So how many volunteers help in the sharing garden?
Well, this was a good year for volunteers.
Yeah,
This is
we
the
have-
most we've ever had as far as volunteers coming forward. It happened at a good time because maybe a year or two ago was maybe just 3-4 of us that were working the garden, but this year was the best ever, and a lot of the new members have stepped up too, so it's fun. Mm-hmm. Very fun.
That's great. So would you say maybe 10, 12? How many people? It depends on the day, I know.
Consistently, I would say this year it was probably 6 to 7. Consistently, but then
Yep.
people pop in and out. And how many do I have on the roster for this year? Who gets an email every week? There's, I think, 10 or 12.
Okay.
So it just,
And then depending on timing when
Yep.
people show up.
Yep, life happens, and we have obligations elsewhere too. So
Well, Eric, I like the fact that you said you want to start your day in the garden. You like to come out and be in the nature and start your day that way, and it feels good.
It sure does. I
Yep.
love it. I love it. And I love that the commitment is usually once a week is what it ends up being. And it's sometimes a half an hour, sometimes it's a couple of hours, depending on the time that you have. But you can pop in and pop out too.
And it depends on the time in the growing season. You know, the
Yes.
setup and tear down takes much more time than mid-season and the putzing with the weeds. And some of my favorite times are when Debbie and I just sit and listen to the wind blow in the garden and watch the birds. This year, we didn't plant red salvia this year. We got to bring the salvia back next year because that's when the hummingbirds showed up.
And we brought chairs to our lounge chairs and just sat under the tree out there and it's just a rush. It just feels so good and comforting, and it's good therapy for me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you've grown over the years, what you currently grow, what works, what doesn't.
First of all, we try to keep in touch with ICA about what they're looking for. Bless them. They always say, we take anything, and they really do. Because I like to experiment, we do something different every year, or try. In the last couple of years, we've added garlic and sweet potatoes, watermelon as new things. We brought eggplant back. We haven't had eggplant for a while. And that's all the standards, your beans, your carrots, potatoes. I love the potatoes because the preschool plants them for us in the buckets, and then normally they would harvest them for us, but things didn't work out that way this year. But it's so fun to dump the bags, and then the kids do their little treasure hunt of the potatoes. And then the gathering, they plant in milk jugs. In the spring, we start collecting milk jugs to start outside in the snowbanks. We plant them out there. They're like little mini greenhouses. And the gathering will plant our cruciferous vegetables like the cabbage and the collards and those kinds of things. The Sunday school will also come in with planting zinnia seed. So it's really a lot involved, and then that all gets out there in the spring, and here we go. Tomatoes, what else do? We don't do corn. That takes up too much space.
We don't do little cherry tomatoes because they get too many of those, right? They seem to
They
rot.
burst. They're water sensitive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I think that I really like doing the garlic and the sweet potato. I mean, some of the size of the garlic, the bulbs, they end up being about the size of a tennis ball.
Yeah.
And
you and I dug them out this spring. That was one of the first. Yes, I remember doing that with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the sweet potatoes. Some of those sweet potatoes, man, they were huge, enough to feed a family.
Yeah.
And the shapes that the sweet potatoes come in the shape of a boomerang. I mean, just all different sizes and shapes. And I think that was pretty exciting because I don't get to grow that stuff at home. So
Yeah. And I like, too, that we succession plan. So when something comes out, when it's done, we put something in behind it, and we can keep it going. Keep growing new things, put new things in.
every spot is filled out there.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. Like Suzanne said, as soon as we pull something out, we'll sneak in extra beets or radishes or even beans.
I love that. I loved learning that this year about how you plant early and then you can plant something new, underneath it or next to it. I learned some things this year just by watching you guys. Yeah.
Suzanne keeps a pretty good record, and she just knows, being a master gardener, what grows the best together, what you can't plant together.
Yeah,
So,
and where to plant the following
Yes.
year when a bed has been planted with the same thing.
Crop rotation is really important, especially with the raised beds, and we don't change out that soil. You got to move things around. We don't want disease.
You said salvia, I think, but I'm wondering, what do you hope to plant or change next spring?
Debbie, I have been dreaming while I've been cleaning my closets at home. You know that hog wire I was telling you about?
Yeah.
Because we need to do something about the fencing. I'm going to start there. We need to do something about the fencing because we've got a deer population they found us 2 years ago, a season ago, and we managed. But boy, did they really find us this year. And that's what all of that paraphernalia was about, with the ribbons and the posts and the pie tins banging and all of that. So we're looking at new fencing, probably using the hog wire to go up higher, to get up to 8 feet, because those deer can jump 10 if they have a good landing spot. But along the lines with that, the vines that we always have, like the watermelon and the sweet potato vines, and how they take up a lot of space.
yes,
Well, imagine if we went up with those.
yes.
Yeah, so let's get some tunnels going. What a fun place for those preschoolers and summer daycare kids to go walking through under those tunnels. Imagine squash coming over the top of you and the pole beans coming up over the top, and
Yes.
the watermelon coming up, and the cucumbers, and it would just be all these tunnels that they could wander in. And
Yes. Plus, we also maybe have to move a couple of the raised garden beds because we're losing some sun. We're getting more shade from these trees, right? The
Yes.
trees right there. So we might have to think about doing that. It's going to be a lot of work, though.
next spring is could potentially be a lot of work.
Yeah.
So more volunteers needed.
Yeah.
How can people get involved?
Well, we start with the bringing in milk jugs.
Yes.
Come the first month of February, we collect milk jugs so that we can plant them up in March and April. And then stay tuned. They can call the office. They can contact either Deb or I. Yeah. They can contact you, Erika, because
Yes.
you know all about it now.
I do. I've learned so much, and I love it. I can't wait. I am already thinking about next spring, even though we're just heading into winter.
I know. The first sign of spring for me comes in right after Christmas. It's that first seed catalog that comes in. That's the first sign of spring.
Stephen and I are here with Matt Dymoke of ICA. Thank you for being with us.
Of course.
And we just want to know a little bit about the ICA. What are the origins of ICA, and why is it important?
ICA serves as our community food shelf here in the Hopkins, Minnetonka area. We've been around for 54 years, founded in 1971 by a group of churches who wanted to help provide some food support to their neighbors. Over the last 54 years, we've grown pretty drastically and have a lot more than just a little food closet that we had back in 1971. Now we serve about 10,000 people a year through a variety of different food programs. Primarily, it's our shopping experience over at the food market off of K-Tel and Shady Oak. That's where clients can come in. They can do their shopping just like they're at a normal grocery store. So they come in, it's 100% choice. They walk through, they can pick produce, they can pick dairy, they can pick canned goods, meat, and then our volunteers just help them go through that shopping experience, and people can come up to twice a month. It's like going to the grocery store. And then we also have some more satellite locations. So we have 3 school markets that we help to support in the elementary and middle school level in Hopkins. We have a pop-up market at Excelsior United Methodist over in Excelsior. So on every other Wednesday, clients can go shop there and have a similar experience just closer to home for them. And then in addition to our food stuff, we also have emergency housing and rental assistance programs. So we have case managers who work with clients who need some additional assistance and funds to help cover rent or utilities. And then we have a career counselor that helps folks on the job search identify jobs, help with resume writing, go through the process of applying for jobs, etc. Those are sort of the wraparound services that we provide in addition to the food service.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that. What housing spaces do you have? Or are you just curious of that? We're involved with Beacon Housing at Oak Knoll. So, yeah.
So we primarily work with individuals who are already housed somewhere, who may be facing eviction or are getting behind in their rent. We don't work with specific buildings, but folks who live in Hopkins or Minnetonka or the other 5 cities along the east side of the lake, we can help those clients with up to $1,800 in support once a year.
Got it. Okay. Wow. So bigger breadth than I thought that ICA serves. Yeah. I think of it as just as food. So that's helpful. So you talked about twice a month that they can come and kind of use like a grocery store. And say the statistics again. How many people in a given month or a given year use the
So we
food
serve
shelf?
about 10,000 people a year.
Okay.
So on the average month, between like 1,500 to 1,700 individuals that we're serving per month.
Per month. Okay. Since we are part of the Sharing Garden, and that is one of the ministries from Oak Knoll, we're curious about what happens when the produce from our gardens come to the ICA, dropped off here or at the food shelf at the other location. What happens to it?
We love when gardens come and donate their items to us. It's really fun to see the variety that folks have, especially throughout the season. What we get in May and June looks a lot different than what we get in October. When folks come and bring those donations, our volunteers accept those donations, they sort them, make sure that everything hasn't gone bad yet, they can get it all cleaned up, and then we put it out on the shopping floor for our clients to select as part of our other produce options. When donations come from Oak Knoll, they're usually on the floor within 24 hours. It's great to see the variety that we get from the gardens. A lot of our garden partners, which we have about 10 garden partners that help us throughout the summers. Each one has, a different flair to what they're growing, and some grow watermelons and some grow cucumbers, and some grow all of the above. It's fun to see on any given week what donations are coming in, how our clients can utilize those donations, and they get really excited to see fresh grown produce So it's great.
What are some of the different gardens or locations that donate to the ICA? You said about 10 of them.
So we have some great faith partners, Oak Knoll, St. Therese, have these large gardens that they have volunteers that manage, sometimes multiple times per week. They're bringing in donations on a regular basis, which is great. We have a partnership with a farm out in Waverly that grows a lot of produce for a lot of markets across the Twin Cities, but we are able to work with them to both order some produce and get produce donations. Last week we had 3 giant totes of apples that came in from end of season apple picking. So it's really fun to see the different sizes of gardens and farms that we work with, but every donation that comes in is really meaningful and helpful for our clients because that variety is so great when they get to choose.
Definitely. Let's see. What foods are most in demand or most enjoyed, would you say?
Yeah, I think it depends on the time of year. So right now, as we head into the Thanksgiving time, the colder months, people are hankering for those turkey dinners and the sort of hearty, more filling, wrap up in a blanket and eat type of meals. And so soup donations are really big right now. All the sides for Thanksgiving. We have a turkey program that we distribute about 1,000 turkeys to clients throughout the month of November as we head into the holidays. And so clients are looking for that box of stuffing or the box of mashed potatoes or the cranberry sauce to go along with those. And we see a huge dip, obviously, when we get to winter times in the fresh produce donations. Love when we can still get some fresh produce. So there are some gardens that do a greenhouse throughout the winter, and they continue to grow. And so we'll still get some fresh donations. But we really look forward to in April when the first donations of asparagus come in. It's fun. I think last year our first donation was 1.8 pounds of asparagus. It was 6 stalks of asparagus that came in. And it's just so fun to see it come back in finally after a long winter. Right now, I think we're looking at really things for the holidays. People also like to bake around the holidays. The flour, sugar, spices, those sorts of things right now are in high demand too.
Talk to us just a little bit about what the partnership between ICA and a place like Oak Knoll or some of these other places means to the food shelf.
Yeah. So we were started, 54 years ago by a group of churches who were wanting to help their neighbors. And I love that we continue to, 50 plus years later, have these relationships with the churches. I think it's really important that we have different organizations in our community that want to band together to help fight hunger. Everyone in our community deserves to have a warm meal each day. And so I love that we can partner with all these different types of organizations like Oak Knoll. So it's really important to us to go from our roots and continue to invest in those organizations. And it also allows us to broaden our reach for folks. So because we have 50 plus years of good relationships and partnerships, we can continue to grow. Especially right now with all the uncertainty going on around us. We're seeing a lot of people that are coming to the food shelf that never have before, and we're able to meet that need because people like Oak Knoll and other congregations are stepping up to help us. That part's really helpful and meaningful. And I do think that on the garden side of things, we live in a state that prides itself on our farmland. We pride ourselves on having access to fresh produce, and I love that our clients who may not be able to go get that at a grocery store are able to get it from us.
Yes. So you mentioned the baking season is upon us and turkey season is upon us, and obviously a lot of fresh produce is no longer coming in. What you're saying is that donations of all these other types of things, sugar, flour, anything to go along with Thanksgiving dinner are appreciated. What else would you say, what are the things you'd like us to know, our congregation to know about the food shelf, what you need, anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah. So I think right now we're in probably our highest time of donations that come in. I think people think about donating to food shelves around the holiday season. Mm-hmm. So as we head into January, February, and March, we start to see those shelves get a little emptier. So as folks are thinking about how do we sustain helping out these, our neighbors in need who need food support, dropping off a donation of food items in January or February is crucially helpful. We update a list on our website every month, so the most needed items that we have, and those are great. We'll take anything, don't get me wrong, especially in January and February, but the list of most needed items on the website is a really helpful guide for folks who are looking to find a way to support their food shelf when they go to Target or when they go to the grocery store. Just add a couple items to their cart. We also have launched our Amazon wish list, which has been really helpful. So people can, as they're shopping on Amazon online, they can add some things and ship them directly to the food shelf. That's been awesome. We've been getting pallets of Amazon deliveries every day with pasta sauce and macaroni and cheese and things that people just are able to donate from the ease of their couch, which is fantastic. And you can set up even auto deliveries. So once a month, send 10 boxes of mac and cheese to ICA, and people don't have to think about it.
Right.
And that part is so helpful.
Okay. Awesome.
yeah.
That's really good to know. That's so easy.
So those things are super easy. And that's what we want to make, helping out our neighbors as easy as possible. And we can continue to do it outside of the holiday season.
The Knoll is a production of Oak Knoll Lutheran Church in Minnetonka, Minnesota. Music performed by Matt Serrar and produced by me, Stephen Murray. If you would like to learn more about Oak Knoll Lutheran Church, please visit us on the web at oklutheran.org or check out the live stream of our Sunday worship on YouTube every week at 9:30 Central. If you would like to share your story as part of the Knoll podcast, you can find information on how to get involved on our website. Thanks for listening, and God bless.